Welcome back to another devlog. I was pretty busy this week, so I didn't get as much done as I had planned. I finished the model you saw in last week's video. It isn't perfect, but I think it looks a lot better than the cube. The snails are still far from finished. I also corrected the angelfish animations. They look a lot better now, but they still move a little funny. I think it's because of the pivot point, so that should be a quick fix. I made the snail model a lot wider since it looked very thin, and began resizing the snails, so they started out as babies and grew into large, just the same as how fish work. I also played about with how the snails worked in regards to colliders, which led to some interesting footage. I changed how they collided and made it so they couldn't collide with each other. This worked a lot better, but might need changed in the future. I changed how the snails detect algae, and tried to make it so the snails detect the closest algae to themselves. And if there's another snail closer, the other snails won't attempt to beat them to it. This mostly worked and looked okay, but it made the other snails look very static. I then copied over my fish info panels for the snails, and began adding age, snail species, and snail size to the panel. I then added the ability to name your snails just like you can with your fish. I finished the day off by making minor tweaks, and making my algae green. This is far from final, but it looks a lot better than just the white circles. I started out the day by adding fish poop into the game. Fish poop will produce algae as well as nutrition for the plant life within your tank. Next up, I added some new colorations for the clownfish. The colour in the info panel will be updated with the actual name of the species, to differentiate it from the other similarly coloured subspecies. I then also added a new coloration for the angelfish. I ran some performance tests today, which for the most part turned out okay. My FPS counter was off at this point, so ignore that. I think the game could be better optimized, but that's a job for another week. Today I added two new big features to the fish, the ability to disable breeding as well as growth on specific fish. This will also later be added to the snails, as well as possibly plants. The reason I thought this would be important for my game is I know a lot of people want to make their perfect tank, and I'm sure for a lot of you that would include baby fish, or smaller fish at least, in a very lively tank. Now if your fish grew every time you fed them, this would be impossible without constantly selling and buying new fish to achieve. As for breeding, this is crucial, as you might have multiple of the same fish, but different subspecies that you want to breed. This option means that you can specifically breed those two, instead of the others being involved. Lastly for this week, I added a nutrition variable to my game, as well as fixing the algae. Now when fish eat, after a small randomized variable of time, they will poop, which when it hits the base of the tank, it decays and increases both algae and nutrition of the tank. Algae is mostly bad and can make your fish sick if you get too much of it, and nutrition is good and will feed and grow your plants. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and feel free to join the Discord to chat or share your own game projects and devlogs. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching.